it has been projected on men that marriage is negative.
Okay.
Like you losing something when you get married. Whereas to women, it's like, man,
we're gaining
it's a beautiful
something.
thing. Like it's a beautiful experience in life and family and kids. One woman, you selling with one woman. We feel like the wedding, the marriage, and everything is about the wife.
Every time we have this conversation, hearts are breaking, face to face, but we don't know how to face it. Yeah, we're done, but we're too afraid to say it. Time is racing. Every time we have this conversation, hearts are breaking, face to face, but we don't know how to face it. Almost perfect, but not adjacent. Time is racing, babe, and I don't want you to waste it.
What's up, baby?
Hey, husband. What's good?
What's going on? What's going on?
Man, I'm excited about this podcast today because what we want to do is really just share our hearts regarding marriage and what we wish we knew, right?
Yeah. It's a lot that we...
Before we got married,
It's a lot that we got to talk about. A lot that we got to talk about. Because we failed a lot in marriage, and there's a lot that I wish that I knew in marriage. And matter of fact, we just got finished sharing a lot about what we learned in our marriage on the podcast, through Facebook and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But I think this is a good thing to talk about for people that aren't married.
Yeah, I feel like one of our greatest mistakes was not preparing for marriage. I feel like we should have done a much better job of getting marriage prep.
Yeah.
And I have heard of other couples too that have gotten marriage preparation and they still ran into struggles. I wouldn't say that getting marriage preparation will completely eliminate the problems in the marriage, but I do believe, me personally, if I had knew more about the true meaning behind marriage and what I was supposed to look for in a husband, or what I was supposed to be as your wife. If I truly knew that, I would have still chosen you, but I would have waited.
No, let's be real.
I'm going to be honest. I would have still chosen you, babe.
Would I be the one?
You would still be the one for real, because no, listen, you would still be the one, love, but you would have been the one at a different season in my life.
Okay.
What's
that mean? Because you pretty that up. Like, what's that mean?
Well, let me explain. I married you when I was 17 years old.
Right.
Okay. So there was a lot about me as a woman, the bare minimum, me as a female, that I didn't know about, right? And so a lot of times I think when we're dating or we're in relationships, we're looking for companionship at first. We're looking for somebody, to just be our ride or die, to chill with, to kick it with, somebody who's sexy, who's fine, who you got good chemistry with. And I think in the dating phase, that's really the bare minimum of what we're looking for. So now that I've been married to you for 23 years, something that I know now is that I think what I was looking for was a man and not a husband. And what I mean by that is that I feel like at the bare minimum, you was a good man, but I believe that you were not ready to be a husband. And that's only because I now know what I need now as a husband. And I've done study and research and prayer and looked through scripture. And I started finding out, like, wait a minute, this is what, this man should have been to me. No wonder I'm dealing with all of these natural agonies on the inside, is because I wasn't getting that. And then vice versa. And maybe you can tell me if you agree, but I feel like you wanted me, I don't know, for what I could do for you, maybe. And it wasn't really what you could give me. I need you to elaborate on it.
Yeah, I honestly didn't know. I didn't know what to expect. Like, I knew the idea of what I wanted in marriage, the connection, companionship, the friendship, and things like that. Like, when we first we were great kicking friends. Like, we were friends.
Yeah.
We were going out. Yep. It was fun. It was easy. I could be myself.
Yep.
But all of the responsibilities and
that
all
part,
of, I ain't had a clue. And it was like, when we got into the marriage, we started hurting each other.
Yep.
Because we didn't really know what real marriage would look like. I didn't know what to expect from a wife.
There you go.
You know, I didn't
and neither
know.
did I quite know what to expect from a husband at that stage in my life either. Yeah.
And that's the thing. And so the only thing we were going with is our emotions.
Correct.
That's what was hurting us. Like, I feel like this, so I'm letting you have it. All I know, I don't know what it is, but all I know is I feel like this, and you need to change. And so we didn't know what that was internally, but we was hurting each other, you know.
Yeah. And go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead, baby.
No, we were hurting each other because of stop. We were hurting each other because of the lack of information about marriage. And so for those people who are dating this or in a serious relationship, this is what I would recommend. I would highly recommend that they do studies on the responsibilities, like, you know, because later on, once you start kicking it with this person, you're going to have things that you're going to need. You know, we both have desires and needs, and you're the person to give me those needs. Yeah, and that's and I'm the person to give you the needs that you have.
You kind of sort of, you know, did what I wanted to do. Is I wanted to ask you that question, like what would you tell a young lady that is maybe dating, want to be married, want a husband, and, you know, they're just like at this place where they feel like they're ready. What would you tell them to look for into a husband?
So again, I think we as women, we have this relationship goal. Like, man, I want to be a wife. I want a husband. I want kids. I want the American dream. But the thing about it is that what you really want is to make sure that before you say I do, that this man has the same goals and desires that you have. Yeah. Because I think a lot of times the wife is sort of pressuring the girlfriend or the fiance, maybe putting this pressure to marry. It's like, you know, well, I don't want to be no forever girlfriend. Yeah. And the guy is telling you, well, I get that, but I'm not really ready to be married. Yeah. But I think us as women, we want that so bad. We want the family. We want the house. We want to, you know, we want the ideal image that we have in our mind. But a lot of times I feel like we're applying pressure to the male, and the male is not quite ready to be a husband. A husband is a high calling and it's a high standard. But what we want more than anything is a man. Yeah. And I don't think we fully understand that once we get married to this man, the wife in us is going to want a husband.
And we've seen that on not only through the sessions that we do, because we do one-on-one sessions for people who don't know, but marriage sessions. Yeah. And also, the thing that inspired this show is Love is Blind.
Season 6. Come on, Love is Blind.
Come on, baby.
Netflix, let's go. We like that show.
Marriage is our business.
Okay.
You know, so these are some of the things that we do. We watch reality shows.
And I love that you watch it with me.
Yeah, because
I really do. I like that.
honestly, I'm gonna be real. Like, when I watch these shows, I'm learning something I learned a lot about women. Okay. I learned a lot about how people think. I learned a lot about men.
Same for me.
And so this show, Love is Blind, is a reality show where, you know,
on Netflix,
people, it's kind of blind speed dating. You don't see the people that you actually talking to behind a wall, and they fall in love emotionally before even seeing the person. Yep. And so this particular couple that we actually like, this was a real good season. Like,
season 6, was honestly, we've seen all 6, but 6, I would say, in my opinion, was one of the best.
It was one of the best. And so it was AD and Clay. Now AD was the lady, the young lady, and then Clay was the young man, and they fell in love emotionally, love without seeing each other. And the thing is, you have the opportunity to propose to the young lady when you're ready to be married. He proposed, right?
In about 6 weeks or something.
In about 6 weeks. And so eventually they got together, they were engaged, and everybody who were engaged went to the island or went on vacation to get to know each other, finally seeing each other.
To connect physically, to see if there's a physical connection also.
Right. And so, long story short, AD, then they had the opportunity within a couple of weeks to get married. Yep. And then AD, I guess, was processing. He was he was not AD, but Clay.
Mm-hmm.
Clay was telling AD along the way that, hey, I got some challenges.
Yep.
I don't believe that I'm in a roundabout way. He was telling her that I don't feel like I'm ready, but she was like, "Look, let's go.
We'll work it out. We'll
Right.
get through it. You know, you're going to be just fine."
Yep.
But he was trying to let her know, "Look, I'm dealing with some generational curses.
Yeah.
My father was unfaithful to my mother, and
Yeah.
they ended up getting a divorce.
Yes.
And not only that, my dad took me with him while he was cheating on my mother
Yes.
to different women's houses and stuff. And so
He was broken.
yeah.
And he was broken.
He was
trying to
honest.
tell her that, and he told her. And at the altar, they had the opportunity to say, yes, I do, or no. And he said no, which broke her heart. It touched me.
I was crying. You know, I was
Like,
sitting
it
there
touched
like,
me.
it don't take much. I'm sitting there like, no, this Negro did not.
He did.
He should have
did.
told this girl, like, before he got all the way to the altar, like, come on, yo.
Yeah,
Her
but-
family was there. Her
Yeah.
friends was there. She was a beautiful bride.
Yeah.
And stood right in her face and said no.
But, you know, the thing about it, I really respect him. He didn't say no and then say, no, I don't want to be with you no more. He said, no, not now. There's a difference between no, never.
He did.
There's a difference between no, never and no, not now.
That's
and
true.
the reason why I'm bringing up that episode is because I wish I had been that aware
Ooh.
before we got married.
Look at that. Look at
To
that.
say
to know
no,
that
not
you was
now.
not ready.
That's one thing that I wish that I knew before I got married. Myself.
Clay,
I wish I
we
knew
salute you, brother.
Like, for real.
Yeah.
Like, for real. I can't do nothing but salute that dude to say, you know what? I'm broken. Like, I don't want to hurt you.
I think
Like-
what happens is we get caught up in the image of the wedding. We get caught up in the
Yep.
the image of how we may look to others.
Yep.
The image of maybe even disappointing others. You know, sometimes people can want you to be together
Yeah.
so much, and it's not something that you want for yourself at that season in your life. You know, I think every girl is like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for my wedding day. I want to put on my wedding dress. Even putting on that dress, you just get this amazing feeling like, man, this is the moment of my dreams, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of us as women, we do crave that relationship, but for some reason, a lot of men don't have the equal, y'all aren't really matching that sense of excitement initially as much as we do. At least that's what I'm gaining from the relationships that I've
Because, I mean,
seen and
it's just
experienced.
that.
I feel like you guys struggle with the certainty. Like, we know what we want.
Yeah,
but I
because
feel
men naturally desire more in relationship. Multiplicity. That's natural.
What do you mean multiplicity? More than one woman? What are we talking about here?
It's well, I don't want to put it like that.
Okay.
I don't want to put it like that. Shake your head. Shake like
Let's make it plain. What we talking about?
Is this a discovery?
Okay, polygamy knows that.
No, not that.
Okay.
He wonders, is this the one?
Okay.
That's the thing.
Okay.
Is this the one? Like, is this the one? Is this the one that's for me? That I can that I can say yes to, that I can be faithful to? Is this the one that I can truly pour everything into? You know, I think you should know that before you even propose.
Now that's how I feel. Like, I think that was the issue with all of the fans, like including me. Like, why didn't you didn't know that this was not, I would think that that's why you're asking the woman, you're getting
exactly.
on one knee.
Exactly.
In a humble position, saying, will you be my wife for the rest of my life?
Exactly.
For the rest of your life. And get to the altar and say, you know what, I don't want to marry you again. Like,
Exactly.
it feels very confusing. It feels very uncertain.
That's
like,
the part I didn't
what's
understand.
the point of you asking a woman to be your wife? You know, that was a voluntary decision that you made on your own, and then get to the altar and say, you know what, this isn't what I want to do anymore.
That's the part I didn't understand about Clay.
The uncertainty.
But you propose. I think that's what really hurt, and that's what didn't make sense.
Let me share my opinion.
Yeah.
I believe why some men do the proposal.
Can I tell you looking sexy?
Stop. I think why some men do the proposal is because even though I might not be ready right now, I don't want no one else to have you.
I'm gonna just think about that.
It's just an opinion. Although I know I'm not quite ready right now, I also don't want to not propose to you and leave the door open for someone else to shoot their shot. And so I'm gonna shoot my shot, right, and keep you close.
And one thing I don't want to do is blanket every man because everybody's different.
I agree.
That's the thing.
But I believe that is one of my opinions.
Right.
And I'm making sure to put
that is true.
I'm making sure to put it out here as an opinion.
Yeah.
I believe that my opinion is why some men may voluntarily propose to the woman is because and even we just had a session just this week where a man legit said, I married her to make her happy. I wasn't really ready to marry her, but at the same token, I didn't want to lose her. So he proposed to her and he married her knowing that he was not ready to be married.
And that's the thing, you know. I hadn't been in that position. You know, I think when I got married, I thought about it and I chose you. I think I wanted to be married, but I don't think I was ready to be married.
So wanting something and not being ready for something is two different things.
That's two totally
different.
You
wanted it, but you wasn't ready for it.
Yeah, that's why I proposed, because I wanted to be married and I love you.
Good point.
But I didn't know I had issues, like deep issues that I didn't deal with.
Okay.
That's why I commend Clay, because he was aware before he got married. He's the opposite of me. He wanted to get married, but wasn't ready to get married. But he had at least the knowing of his issues to make a conscious, mature decision to say no.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be married right now. I want you, babe, but I can do you more damage.
He was self-aware.
Yeah.
Yeah, self-awareness is everything, because what you don't want, and then this couple that we're dealing with right now in our mentorship program, the wife now is dealing with a lot of sadness and depression and loneliness because she's feeling the energy from her husband. Like, you never really wanted to marry me.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't want to be married, you didn't want to have kids right now. And it's causing her to harbor resentment towards him. And then he's coming back and saying, well, babe, I told you, you know, I was honest with you. And I said that marriage wasn't necessarily something that I wanted us to vibe. I wanted us to travel. I wanted us to do a lot of different things before we got married. But marriage was something that you wanted. And because I wanted to make you happy, I married you. Okay. So again, and he also added, I also didn't want to lose you. So I feel like us as women know what we want. We can pretty much settle in with this one guy, you know, build this family. But along the way, I feel like you guys still, you know, vacillate a little bit. Like, is this the one? Am I sure? Is there more to life? Is there, you know, was there another path for me?
A lot of times is because of the societal things that is put on men. Like, you ever heard of this term called ball and chain? You know, when you get married, ball and chain. Like, it has been projected on men that marriage is negative. Okay. Like, you losing something when you get married.
Okay.
It's the old ball and chain. Whereas to women, it's like, man,
we're gaining
it's a beautiful
something.
thing. Like, it's a beautiful experience in life and family and kids. And, you know, wow.
So we feel we're winning and we're gaining, and you guys feel like you're losing.
Because that's what's been pushed on, man. Like, it's a negative thing. Like, marriage is a negative thing. Man, one woman, you selling with one woman?
I got you.
The whole ball and chain, you got somebody to mother you now. You know, that's the first thing.
Lock you down.
Lock you down. And like, that's just the reality, that the struggle that a man has to push past. You know, and
the voices of culture.
That's it.
Yeah, the voices of culture and your upbringing.
That's it.
And, you know, your homeboys and all this, that, and you got to press through. Whereas on our side, we're like, girl,
this is a beautiful.
You about to get, I'm married now, you know.
All this, you know, but, you know, and then another thing, a lot of time, if we feel like the wedding, the marriage and everything is about the wife.
You
remember that day when we was out there on the park?
Oh my God. God.
You remember we
that
got in the park?
So true.
And a wedding was going on out there on the town center.
Yeah, and we were sitting down chilling.
And what'd you say?
And I looked and I saw a wedding happening in the distance. And I looked and I was like, oh, she's getting married.
Yeah, that's right.
I remember.
See, I'm like, he's getting married too.
I didn't even realize I said that, but I sure did.
But see, that's how we think.
I think what it was though, babe, in all fairness, I saw the wedding dress, okay?
See?
I saw the wedding dress and my eyes locked on the dress and I said, oh, she's getting married.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I said it like that. That was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, but that just show you though. That's how.
That's true.
That's how people think.
They are getting married.
Like they get married. She ain't just the only one. She's standing up there by herself. Just her and God. Her and God getting married. But that's like that's going back weird. To
Clay and 80, the show.
Yeah, Clay and 80, and being aware of what to expect in marriage, because I'm just looking at Ephesians in the Bible where it talks about how a man should treat the wife,
how a husband
should treat his wife. And man, I was so far from this.
And that goes with my point though.
Yeah.
I think when I thought of marriage at first, I saw you as my man. I wanted a man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you were good at that
Right.
standard of being a man. But when it came to the responsibilities of husband,
right?
I was like, when I started studying Ephesians 5, and I started to see who you're supposed to be to me, then I started putting a demand on the man to be the husband. And that's where I got frustrated because you didn't even know that was the standard.
I ain't know what what would you like? Yeah. Girl, I'm balling. Like I'm bringing in the bag. You got to catch. I'm working. I'm starting this business.
Yeah.
I'm here every day. I'm in the studio. I'm a grinder. I hustle. Like you got to catch. Why you pressuring me? What you what you trying to? The first thing a man say when he feels like he being pressured, like you don't appreciate. What you trying to make me into? Why are you trying to?
Why are you trying to change me? And why are you trying? And actually, we are. We want you. We want you to transition into a husband. We are trying to change you.
I'm already catch.
No, bruh. Like you fine and everything, but that's at the bare minimum as a man. Like the man that I married is now a husband. Now you have a new position, and that's once I tapped into that position of who I'm supposed to be. Also, now I have a responsibility as a wife. Also, so I started looking more into who I'm supposed to be because even me at the bare minimum as woman was undeveloped. I had to get developed in self-worth, self-value, self-care. There was a whole lot about the basic woman side of me that I needed to develop. Absolutely. And then now I needed to tap into my position of a wife. And I'm like, dang, there's more to this. You know what I'm saying? I got more responsibilities. I got to pray for this man and, meet his needs and
respect and
honor. Like, what the heck is honor? Like, what do you mean honor now?
Can we talk about that, though? Can we talk about that?
You ain't my daddy.
Because I do want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Do you feel that when a woman doesn't feel like she gets the husband that she desires, like you're saying, does that give her the right now to step out of her position as a wife?
Oh boy. Okay.
Let's we're gonna be real now. Let's talk.
Right.
Now you for what you know right now. Because that part, I feel like that part when we got married, we both didn't understand our roles as a husband and wife. And I feel like if we knew our roles and we focused on our roles, that things would probably happen different, But do you feel now that when a man isn't that husband yet, how should a woman respond to that husband? I'm gonna put you on the spot.
So the whole time you're asking me this, I immediately went to God's word because that's how I'm wired now. I'm wired now to obey God's standard. Okay. I have the word in me now. I know exactly what the Bible says.
Well, let me say that because I want to say this too, because we got people who ain't married yet. That's going to get married and they have expectations.
Yep.
when they get married, these expectations ain't being met. Then here come the demon mouth and the nasty neck, you know, and sometimes that could create more damage in the marriage.
It's counterproductive. Yeah.
Right. So now go ahead.
Yeah. So, okay. So your question is, if a woman is married to a man who is not yet functioning, who is married, who has a husband who is not yet functioning at his full capacity of a husband, how should she treat him, or how should she function as a wife?
Yeah, what would you suggest? Because there may be a wife right now listening. Man, he ain't there yet. You know, he ain't too nice. You know, not soft yet.
Okay.
You know, he may be, you know, the provider. He may be the king providing. He may be the prophet. You might encourage her a little bit, but he might not be yet the priest, the father.
Yeah, I think all of that we want to put to the side for a second, because if this man is the prophet and the priest, then she shouldn't have any problems, for real. Okay. Yeah, if he's really functioning as...
So what's your idea of a man not yet being a husband? That, you know, just say, you know what most women complain about.
And let me just say that, because it's a lot of questions. What do most women complain about? We're in marriage sessions all throughout the week, and I can tell you right now, I can put on one hand the main things women complain about with their husband. He lacks consistency. He may start something and do not finish. He may start meeting her needs, and then the very next week he will go back to his default of being, you know, lower in his husbandhood.
That was nice.
I tried.
Negro.
Oh, yeah. Second, he may lack accountability. That's huge. Because a lot of women feel like they're trying to really, you know, help their husbands and be a helper. But he's rejecting her help. A lot of times men are like loners, egotistical. And I mean that with all respect. But they feel like, I know what I'm doing and I don't need your help.
Big time.
Okay, and that's a struggle for a lot of women, because we're wired to be his help. So we feel rejected in terms of our help. I feel like the third area is that he's not a good communicator. A lot of times when she's communicating her needs, her concerns, her desires, he is invalidating a lot of those concerns, dismissing, devaluing, not really listening to her needs and her concerns. All of that, and that's just some. I'm going to pause because I don't want it to veer off of the topic. But those are mainly the top issues that a lot of women are currently having with their husbands. And again, listening is vital. Listening is what a husband would do. Because in 1 Peter, I want to say 3, verse 7, husbands, you know, make sure that you treat your wife with sensitivity and be caring and loving, so that your prayers won't be hindered, you know. And then Colossians 3:19, make sure you be gentle and not harsh in communicating with her and treat. So again, I feel like that could be one of the things that's missing is that I'm losing my train of thought, because you sitting here playing footsie with me, babe, and I don't know where I'm going with the...
You looking sexy. That's what I'm saying.
Oh my gosh. So like right now, listening would be one of my issues that I have with you right now.
So now,
like I'm talking, what did I just say?
I know exactly what you just said.
Give me reflective listening. Reflect back to me what I just said.
Not listening. The details.
I said nothing but details.
No, but I want you to answer the question though, because the question was, how should a wife respond?
Okay.
How do you feel like now, that with the knowledge that you know now, how should a wife respond?
So if he lacked all those qualities that I just listed, she need to focus on what she's supposed to do. Okay. At the core of things, you are still a wife. And I feel like even in corporate America, we all have different roles and positions. And just because one person isn't handling their responsibilities doesn't mean that you should lack in your responsibilities, right?
That's good.
That's how I look at it now. Just because your manager ain't doing their job, that don't mean you shouldn't do your job. Just because the person over here sitting next to you is slacking off on their work, that doesn't mean that you should slack off on your work. So we both have a role to play and responsibilities, because
now everything crumbling.
You see,
nobody holding it down. You know, two wrongs don't make it right. We hear that growing up. Since we've been in elementary school, two wrongs don't make it right. Just because Johnny hit you, you don't have to hit Johnny back.
But can I add a clause in there though? Okay,
you had something.
I sure do.
You had something
because a lot of times men say just submit. But what am I submitting to? Mm-hmm. I think that's a vital point to mention now. Mm-hmm. If I'm going to submit to you, shouldn't you also submit to Christ? Absolutely. And I do believe that there should be an order in a biblical Christian home.
Absolutely.
That if a husband is submitted to Christ, then yes, that wife should submit to that husband, because that wife is going to be submitting to the love of God on the inside of that husband now. 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 1 through 6 focuses on the wife's roles and responsibilities. And the one thing that's really key, it says, even if that husband don't yet believe the way that you believe, that you might can win this man over with your godly character. Hold up.
Can we talk about that?
Can I add something right there? It said if he is unbelieving, not if he's abusive. Right. Not if he's an adulterer.
Right.
Not if he's toxic.
That's the thing.
It didn't say that though. It didn't say submit to that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Excluding all those toxicities and stuff that you were talking about. But this brother is just not the perfect guy. Okay, nobody gonna be perfect. But one thing I do want to say is because now, because the whole topic we're talking about, what we do, what we wish we had known before we got married. To help some people out there who may not be married yet to prepare. And that's why it's so important with everything that you just said. It's so important to have accountability. Like that's something like, because the things that we went through.
What kind of accountability?
Like we got mentors to look up to and to call at any time we have challenges, anything that we go through something that we don't understand, to help us maneuver through whatever, wish we would have known that before. And the thing about it, we look for that, but couldn't find
the right people
that we can trust. And so, like you were saying, with you dealing with the husband that wasn't quite there yet, it's wise now because, even in the Bible, it talks about, okay, tell this person one time, and it's talking about the members in the church. If this member in the church is in sin, you warn this person. You warn
privately, one-on-one,
maybe twice, and you could apply this to marriage too.
Absolutely,
once, maybe twice, but then, hey, hold on, you ain't listening. Let's take them to somebody that can hold them accountable. A third
party,
should be a godly person, and say, hey, look, my husband is not getting it. My wife is not getting it. You know, I've been trying to talk with him, XYZ. Can you please counsel us and help us? You know, that's wisdom. That's the wisdom that I wish we had
from the beginning. Yeah, at the very beginning. Like if we had that a part of our foundation, like a defense plan, where we could bounce some issues off of. Man. But I think what happened, because we didn't have that in our foundation, a lot of our issues started to accumulate over time, and it eventually turned into toxic issues because we didn't have like an outlet. To really like filter some of these issues through.
I'm telling you that would have been a game changer for us. I don't think that I would have went through some of the things that I went through if I had another man to talk to, say, hey, this is what I'm dealing with.
But you in the script, because I want to say it's in Timothy somewhere in the Bible where it talks about the elders teaching the younger men how to be husbands and teaching the woman how to be wives. And I don't know where the elders at now, man. Where we at? Where they at, babe? Yeah, I don't know where they.
Here.
Oh,
they. We got this.
We had to be the people we wish we had.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
see now I think because it's time. People want that word. People want good marriages.
Yeah.
And so this is something that we wish that we had, like for real. Yeah. And because it would have saved us from a lot,
Facts. And so if there's somebody dating right now in a serious relationship, you're in a serious relationship, you are maybe even engaged, like you have to make sure that you have a defense plan. You have to have a trusted preferably a married couple, a godly married couple that you can go to. I mean, not for everything now, because God should be the first stop.
Absolutely. Yeah. you can't just be blowing up people's phone.
No.
Like, we had some people doing that, man. It was just ridiculous. And then believe me, we understand, especially if you're in a season of where it's like toxicity and stuff like that. We understand.
Yeah.
You know, but you want to be able to have someone that is trustworthy and that it can really, really give you the help that you need, you know.
Yeah. So you want to go to God first, you know, in addition to God, you might need to still partner in with that couple and sit down, not to vent and to expose your spouse, but to sit down and say, help us get to the next level. So that's something I wish we had at the beginning. And then one other thing I wish we had at the beginning is that we knew that we really focused on personal development. I'm talking real personal development.
We didn't know how to do. What was that when we got married? Let's be
how
real.
do you develop yourself as
real.
a single person?
You was 17 when we got married. I was 21. What is that for a young person? For people that young, like, what self-development, like?
And I mean, I don't know. People got married very, very young, multiple decades, multiple generations ago. Getting married young was normal, common. Even the Bible says, rejoice with the wife of your youth. Yeah. You know, that we should, you know, grow together. But I would say personal development would have been loving you, you know, in a way, spending more time with you, getting to know what you like, what you don't like, working on being the best version of yourself, pursuing your dreams. If you knew back then what it was, if you knew at that beginning, pursuing your dreams, your goals, even having a personal mentor, maybe.
And that's the part right there that I really want to talk about, because what I heard just now when we were going back to the way it was, they had a tribe. Back then, they had family to hold them accountable. They had
the family was heavily involved in their relationship.
They had mom, dad, aunties, uncles, the church,
you act
everybody.
Crazy if you want to.
Yeah, ain't that such and such husband? Oh, what y'all?
That's right.
Let me talk with y'all. The family unit was there, but now everybody's loners.
Yep.
Everybody loners.
Stay out of my bed. You do you, I do me. No accountability, no community, no support. Yep.
And see, that's one thing for anybody listening who's single. Like, you want to get married, build yourself a tribe. That's first good. Around yourself first.
Amen.
You should be healthy first. There's a such thing of being whole and healthy first before you get married.
Good.
You know, so there should be two healthy people getting into the marriage. You know what I'm saying? Not broken people, and then now you get healed when you get together. You know, but
the thing about even that though is some of the brokenness, that's easier said than done, because sometimes a lot of the brokenness isn't even discovered until marriage. Because sometimes you can't really see that there's an issue until you get up close to it. You know? Explain
that, because that's true.
I feel like marriage to us has also been like a magnifying glass.
Yep.
You know, like we've been each other's magnifying glass, because I'm the closest person to you and you're the closest person to me. So I discovered, like, man, you are the only person in this world that can push my buttons, like, can make me angry.
That's marriage.
You know, whereas when I was single, who's really pushing you to that extent to really apply pressure to make you, like, really angry? You know, who's it?
You got to look at this person in the face. You got to sleep deck this person, knowing that you just did this to me, and you know now it's almost you are forced to make it right.
Yes, you're forced to make it right,
unless you're gonna be miserable, and that's the problem. People selfish in marriage.
Correct.
They ain't want to make things right. Like, you can't be offended, or you can't offend somebody and then don't make it right in a marriage. It's gonna force you to be humble.
Absolutely. That's what marriage will do. Yeah. And so a lot of, we often say two whole healthy people should be married.
Yeah.
But I do believe in doing as much work on you that you can at the very beginning.
Right.
But some things won't even be discovered or unearthed until you're married now.
That's true.
Okay, because here's the thing. We dated for 2 years.
Yeah.
Before we got married.
And I thought I was whole. You thought you were whole.
I didn't know what was wrong with me. I didn't know what issues I had. I thought I was happy and I had everything was good.
I needed therapy back then.
Yeah, I wish I had gotten therapy. I wish I had gotten counsel. Yeah, mentorship. I wish Lord.
Back then.
But there was just no one around. Even we got married 20 plus years. Yeah. Even the internet wasn't as banging with all of these resources even back then to even direct us in a healthy way. All right. And so we were at a deficit of information, of resources, of community. And so we had to grow, learn, and get developed in the marriage. Yeah.
Because that's a good example because a good example is the thing with the lust, the pornography. It wasn't a problem until there was issues with us. You see what I'm saying? And then boom, now I'm wanting something to be happy, make me happy. I'm miserable. Why am start lusting? But even outside of that, the abandonment.
So some stuff was lying dormant.
It was lying dormant. Before we got married, we felt good. Things were good. We
because we weren't abandoning each other. We've been tight. We were friends. We were
friends. Boom. But the moment where abandonment started, something happened where like matter of fact, remember when I was so busy with the video and music. You wanted to go out and you went to the parking lot, this grocery store park. That was abandonment. Yep. That triggered something that you probably didn't even know that was still there. Like you said, it was like you don't know things are there sometime until you get married. Because you start off in the relationship early before the marriage, you happy, you kicking it. But when challenges come, it do unearth some of those past stuff that you thought that you dealt with.
Like, what's this? It's a trigger, and so a lot of times marriage triggers the soul. Yeah. It triggers the soul. It disrupts the soul. It shakes the soul. And it's like, oh, wow, I didn't know that was there. I didn't know abandonment was there. I didn't know rejection was there. I didn't know lust was there. I didn't know profanity was there. I didn't know selfishness was there. And so marriage shakes the soul and it reveals what's on the inside of you, because when you're alone and you're single, nobody's shaking the soul for the most part, but when you get up close to this other person and you have to sacrifice yourself so much to meet the need of the other person, now you're starting to get kickback in your soul because now, man, I got to die to myself. Marriage makes you have to die to yourself. And so that is another thing that I wish I had known. I wish I had known how much beauty is in marriage, but also how much death is in marriage. You have to die to self in order to meet that need of that other person. And so that's huge.
That's the part right there. Marriage is really not for selfish people.
It is not for selfish people.
That dying to self is, exactly what it is. The desires that you have. You can't be selfish. 1 Corinthians 7. I think that's it. You have to die, and your life is no longer yours. You have to do things. You have to, do things according to the world by pleasing your husband and pleasing your wife. It's no longer just you and God, you, yourself, and your.
And no pleasing more. Yourself, yeah.
And pleasing yourself. Now you have to please this other person, but in order to really, really love that other person the way God wants you to love, there's a denial of self. There's a death. I can't do things for my wife because she made me feel a certain kind of way. I gotta die to even my hurt. I gotta die to my doubts. I gotta die to my fears. Marriages are dying. That's something that we didn't know at the beginning. Like,
so if you think you getting married out here, you in these dating streets and you want to get married, listen, marriage is a serious calling. Yeah. It is a high level of responsibility that it's a beautiful thing now, because I feel like it makes us more like God, honestly, because of the shaking and the rattling that's happening in the soul. It's purifying, it's sanctifying us, right? But at the end of the day, it has a lot of benefits to it. It has a lot of gifts to it. You're my best friend. We're beautiful. Great companions.
We're on the other side of the storm, other side of the challenges. And it's a beautiful thing, you know. Even though we had
a lot has been shaken,
yeah, and even though we've been through a lot of things, we endured.
Absolutely.
The one thing that I learned about us, babe,
come on,
is that endurance. That like we stayed in there through the fight, even through hurting each other.
Yep.
And we stayed in there. You know what I mean? Resilience. That's the one thing about us.
Resilient.
And that made us even love each other. Excuse me, even more. You know what I'm saying?
I truly believe that the more things came up against us, the stronger we became, babe.
That's it.
We're stronger today because we endured. And that is the beauty of marriage. Once you've allowed, you know, situations to shake you, you come out on the other side stronger and more in love. I love you now more than I ever did.
That's it.
Right? And so that's one of the beauties of marriage. And so we don't want to scare anybody away from marriage, because I want to highlight that it is definitely a beautiful thing, but it is going to disrupt the soul a lot to get rid of the impurities. A lot of times fire purifies, and that's what marriage does. But once you go through the purification process, you come out stronger.
It matures you. It makes you stronger.
Yeah.
Marriage cuts a hole straight through the center of your soul and show you what you have inside of you.
Ouch.
You know what I'm saying? And God gives you a choice. Either you're gonna deal with it, or you're gonna live miserably in this marriage. Either you're gonna deal with it, or you're gonna hurt this person you with. Either you're gonna deal with it, or you're gonna have to answer to me. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
That's what marriage does. You know, but it's a beautiful thing when if you choose to deal with it.
Come on, babe. Come on.
Marriage is one of the most beautiful institutions that you can possibly get into.
It will make you better.
Ooh, I think we're gonna end it like that, because like this is the first of the Married for Real podcast, man. And for those of y'all that are following us on Facebook, social media, or whatever, wherever you at, man, if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and
subscribe.
Smash that subscribe button, subscribe and everything. Follow us. Don't just get all this information and don't follow. Subscribe this thing, because we coming at you hard, right?
Yeah, and put some comments. Let us know some questions y'all may have that we could potentially answer on our next podcast. Also, if you are already married, share with our audience some things you wish you knew before you got married.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like we all have different experiences, and so maybe there's something that you guys can share too. But if you are not married yet and you're engaged, put some questions in the comments, because we're here for you guys. We want to make sure that as many couples as possible are prepared for marriage.
That's it.
That's so we can have healthier marriages. That's
the goal right there. So y'all make sure y'all come and get some more information for those of you that are single and everything. Even if you're married, you know, we love in the relationship atmosphere to give as much information as we can possibly do, in Jesus' name. All right. Y'all remember, if you take these messages and you apply it to your life, you too could say, through it all,
we still win.
Certified marriage mentors Letroy and Christina Brown have a new book, The Marriage Mouth. They are the founders of Married for Real and have been reaching hundreds of thousands of people around the world with their transparent and relevant approach to common marriage issues. So many people have been asking for the book, and now you can have it for yourself. This dynamic book is full of powerful topics, prayers, and confessions. It's a book you'll never be done with. It was designed to use as a spiritual guide and tool to address most marital situations. The Marriage Mouth. Your mouth is a weapon. Don't use it against your spouse. Order your copy today at Amazon.com or go to our website at marriedforreal.com.